Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight we bring you a tale of mystery and intrigue from the fog-shrouded streets of San Francisco. This is the story of Sam Spade, private detective, and his encounter with danger, deception, and a legendary treasure known as the Maltese Falcon. It was a Tuesday morning in September when she walked into my office, the kind of dame that spells trouble with a capital T. I'm Sam Spade, and I should have known better. Heels clicking on wooden floor, door closing. "Come in, sweetheart. Take a seat. What can I do for you?" I said, looking up from my desk. The woman was a knockout. Blonde hair, blue eyes, and nervous as a cat in a thunderstorm. "Mr. Spade, I need your help. My name is Miss Wonderly, Ruth Wonderly. I'm in terrible trouble." "Trouble's my business, lady. What kind of trouble we talking about?" I asked, lighting up a cigarette and leaning back in my chair. "It's my sister. She's gotten herself mixed up with a dangerous man, Floyd Thursby. I need you to find her before something terrible happens." She opened her purse and pulled out a roll of bills thick enough to choke a horse. "I can pay you well, Mr. Spade, very well." I looked at that money and felt my partner, Miles Archer, stirring in the next room. Miles had a weakness for two things, easy money and pretty women. This dame had both in spades. "Miles," I called out, "come meet our new client." Miles Archer came through the door like he was walking into a movie premiere. He was a big man, not too bright, but loyal as a hunting dog. When he saw the blonde, his eyes lit up like Christmas morning. "Well, well," Miles said, straightening his tie. "What do we have here?" "Miss Wonderly has a problem, Miles. Her sister's in trouble with a man named Floyd Thursby. She wants us to find the sister." Miles was already reaching for his hat. "I'll take the case personally, Miss Wonderly. Don't you worry about a thing." That should have been my first warning. Miles was thinking with his heart instead of his head, and in this business, that's a recipe for disaster. But the money was good, and we needed the work. "All right, Miss Wonderly, we'll find your sister, but I need more information. Where was she last seen? What does this Thursby character look like?" The dame gave us a description and an address where she thought we might find them. As she left, clicking across the wooden floor in those high heels, I noticed something. She'd been lying through her pretty white teeth. The story didn't add up, but the money was real enough. Phone ringing. That night, around 11:30, the phone rang in my apartment. I was reading the evening paper and nursing a glass of bourbon when the shrill bell cut through the silence. "Spade here." "Sam, it's the police. You better get down here. Your partner's been shot." Sound of rain, car engines, police sirens. I threw on my coat and headed out into the San Francisco night. The fog was thick as soup, and the rain was coming down in sheets. I found Miles in an alley off Bush Street, deader than yesterday's newspaper. 3 bullets in the chest, close range, professional work. The police detective in charge was a thin, nervous man named Dundee. He had questions, and I had precious few answers. "What was Archer doing here, Spade?" Dundee asked, rain dripping from the brim of his hat. "He was tailing a man named Floyd Thursby. We had a client who wanted him found." "His client got a name?" "Ruth Wonderly. She hired us this morning." But even as I said it, I knew that wasn't her real name. Nothing about that dame had been real except the money and the trouble she had brought with her. Footsteps in the rain, car doors slamming. They found Thursby an hour later, shot down like a dog in front of his hotel. 2 men, both dead, and I was right in the middle of it. The police had more questions, but I'd run out of answers. I went back to my apartment and poured myself a stiff drink. That's when she showed up. Knock at door. I opened the door, and there she was, Miss Ruth Wonderly, or whatever her real name was. She'd been crying, and her makeup was smeared, but she was still beautiful enough to stop traffic. "Mr. Spade, I heard about your partner. I'm so sorry." Yeah, well, sorry doesn't bring miles back. You want to tell me what this is really about? She came inside, and I poured her a drink. Her hands were shaking as she took the glass. My name isn't Ruth Wonderly. It's Brigid O'Shaughnessy, and I lied to you about everything. That's a start, sweetheart. Keep talking. Floyd Thursby was my partner. We had something valuable, something that certain people would eliminate us to get. I was afraid, so I hired you and your partner to protect me. What kind of something are we talking about? She looked at me with those blue eyes, and I could see the fear in them. Real fear. It's a statue, a black bird. It's worth more money than you can imagine. Lady, I can imagine a lot of money. What makes this bird so special? It's the Maltese Falcon, a treasure from the Knights of Malta, covered in jewels and gold, then painted black to hide its true value. It's been lost for centuries, but Floyd and I found it. Clock chiming, midnight. That's when the real trouble started. Over the next few days, they came out of the woodwork like termites. First was Joel Caro, a little man with an accent and a gardenia in his lapel. He came to my office with a proposition. Mr. Spade, I believe you have something that belongs to me. Caro was smooth as silk and twice as dangerous. He had a gun, but he was nervous about using it. I don't know what you're talking about, pal. The black bird, Mr. Spade. I am prepared to pay handsomely for its return. How handsomely? $5,000. That got my attention. $5,000 was serious money in those days. But I didn't have the bird, and I told him so. He didn't believe me, which led to an uncomfortable few minutes where he searched my office with his gun while I sat in my chair and smoked cigarettes. He didn't find anything because there wasn't anything. Then came the phone call that changed everything. Phone ringing. Spade? Mr. Spade, this is Kasper Gutman. I believe we have mutual interests regarding a certain black bird. Perhaps we could meet. I'm listening. The Alexandria Hotel, room 621. Come alone and come tonight. Hotel lobby sounds, elevator running. Kasper Gutman was a mountain of a man, 300 pounds if he was an ounce, but he moved like a dancer and talked like a college professor. His hotel room was luxurious, with expensive furniture and artwork on the walls. Mr. Spade, please sit down. Would you care for a drink? He poured himself a brandy from a crystal decanter. I'll stand, thanks. You talked about a bird. Ah, yes, the Maltese Falcon, a most remarkable piece of history. Are you familiar with the Knights of Malta? Can't say that I am.
They were a religious order, very wealthy, very powerful. In 1539, they paid tribute to the King of Spain, a falcon carved from solid gold and encrusted with precious stones. The finest jewelers in Europe worked on it for years. It was priceless. So what happened to it? It was lost, stolen by pirates, they say, but I know better. I've spent 17 years tracking it down, Mr. Spade. 17 years of my life. He leaned forward, and I could see the obsession in his eyes. The bird is here, in San Francisco. Ms. O'Shaughnessy and her late partner had it, and now I want it back. What makes you think I know where it is? Because, my dear fellow, you're the only one left alive who might. That was cheerful news. I was starting to feel like the last player in a very dangerous game. What's it worth to you? I'm prepared to pay $50,000. $50,000. That was more money than I'd see in 10 lifetimes. But something about the fat man made my skin crawl. He was too smooth, too polite, too ready with that charming smile. I'll think about it, I said. Don't think too long, Mr. Spade. Others are looking for the bird as well, and they're not as reasonable as I am. I left Gutman's hotel room with my head spinning. $50,000 for a black bird. It was enough to make a man do crazy things. But I had more immediate problems. Someone was following me. I took a roundabout route back to my apartment, doubling back and taking side streets. The fog was thick, and the shadows were full of dangers. I made it to my building and climbed the stairs to my floor. That's when I saw my door was open. My apartment had been turned upside down, drawers pulled out, cushions slashed, books scattered across the floor. They'd been looking for the bird, and they'd been thorough about it. I poured myself a drink and sat down to think. I had 3 different people after the same thing: Brigid O'Shaughnessy, Joel Cairo, and Kasper Gutman. And somewhere in the middle of it all was a black bird worth $50,000. The smart thing would have been to walk away, but Miles was dead, and someone was going to pay for that. Phone ringing. "Spade? It's Brigid. I need to see you. It's urgent." "Where are you?" "The Coronet Hotel, room 411. Please hurry." I grabbed my gun and headed back out into the night. The Coronet was a fleabag hotel downtown, the kind of place where they rented rooms by the hour and didn't ask questions. I found room 411 and knocked. Door opening. Brigid was there, but she wasn't alone. Joel Cairo was sitting in a chair by the window, and standing behind him was a young man I'd never seen before. He was tall, thin, and had the kind of cold eyes that belonged on a shark. "Mr. Spade," Brigid said, "I'd like you to meet Wilmer Cook. He works for Mr. Gutman." Cook didn't say anything, just stared at me with those dead eyes. I didn't like him already. "What's this about?" I asked. "It's about the bird," Cairo said. "We've decided to work together to find it." "How nice for you. What's that got to do with me?" "We think you know where it is," Brigid said. "We think your partner found it before he died." That's when I knew they were all lying. Miles hadn't found anything except 3 bullets in his chest, but they didn't know that, and I wasn't about to tell them. "Maybe I do, maybe I don't. What's it worth to you?" "We're prepared to make you a generous offer." "How generous?" $10,000. "Your fat man offered me 50. That got their attention. Young Cook's hand moved toward his coat, but I was ready for him. "Easy, Junior. We're all friends here." "Mr. Gutman is not our friend," Brigid said. "He's a dangerous man, Sam. He's eliminated people for less than this. Unlike you folks, who are as harmless as Sunday school teachers." I lit a cigarette and looked at the 3 of them. "Here's what's going to happen. I'm going to find this bird, and when I do, I'm going to decide who gets it. Until then, you can all sit on your hands and wait." I headed for the door, but Cook stepped in front of me. "Mr. Gutman wants to see you again." "Tell Mr. Gutman I'm busy. He insists, and I'm declining." Cook's hand went for his gun, but I was faster. I grabbed his wrist and twisted until he dropped the piece. Then I gave him a little tap on the jaw that sent him down for a nap. "When he wakes up," I said to Brigid and Cairo, "tell him I'll be in touch." Footsteps in the hallway, door slamming. I went back to my office and sat down to think. The pieces were starting to come together, but I didn't like the picture they were forming. Miles was dead because he'd gotten between these people and their bird. Thursby was dead for the same reason. And if I wasn't careful, I'd be next. Key and lock, door opening. That's when Brigid showed up at my office. It was past midnight, and she looked like she'd been running. "Sam, you have to help me. They're going to eliminate me." "Who's going to eliminate you?" "All of them. Cairo, Gutman, that awful boy, Wilmer. They think I have the bird, but I don't. Floyd hid it before he died, and he never told me where." "So where is it?" "I don't know, but they don't believe me." She was crying now, real tears this time. "Sam, I'm scared. I've never been so scared in my life." I looked at her sitting there in my office, beautiful and frightened, and probably lying about everything except being scared. But there was something about her that got to me. Maybe it was the way she said my name, or the way she looked at me like I was her last hope. "All right, sweetheart, I'll help you. But I want the truth this time, all of it." "The truth is, I don't know where the bird is. Floyd and I stole it from Gutman in Istanbul. We were going to sell it and split the money, but Floyd didn't trust me, so he hid it somewhere in San Francisco." "When did you last see it?" 3 days ago, the night before I came to your office." Rain against the windows, clock ticking. We sat there in the dark office, and she told me the whole story. How she'd met Floyd Thursby in Hong Kong,
how they'd learned about the bird from a sailor in a waterfront bar, how they'd tracked it to Istanbul in Gutman's private collection, how they'd stolen it and fled to San Francisco, thinking they were safe. We were going to be rich, Sam, really rich, enough money to go anywhere, do anything. But Gutman followed you. He's been chasing that bird for 17 years. He wasn't going to let it go. So Thursby hit it, and now everyone's looking for it. Everyone, except the police. They think this is all about some kind of love triangle. That's when I got an idea. It was dangerous, maybe even crazy, but it might work. Brigid, I want you to set up a meeting, all of them, Cairo, Gutman, the kid, tomorrow night. What are you going to do? I'm going to end this thing once and for all. Phone ringing, multiple voices. The next evening, they all gathered in my apartment. Kasper Gutman, Joel Cairo, Wilmer Cook, and Brigid O'Shaughnessy. It was like a reunion of thieves and murderers, with me as the host. Gentlemen, lady, I said, we're here to discuss a bird, a very valuable bird that everyone wants, but nobody seems to have. Get to the point, Spade, Gutman said. He was drinking my brandy like it was water. The point is, I know where the bird is, and I'm willing to make a deal. That got their attention. Cairo leaned forward, his eyes bright with greed. What kind of deal? I'll get you the bird, but first we need to settle the matter of who eliminated my partner and Floyd Thursday. That's ancient history. Not to me. Miles was my partner, and someone's going to pay for that death. What do you want? I want the shooter, and I think I know who it is. I looked around the room at their faces. Cairo was nervous, twisting his hands. Gutman was trying to look calm, but I could see the worry in his eyes. Cook was staring at me with those dead shark eyes. And Brigid? Brigid was looking at me like I was about to break her heart. Thursby eliminated Miles, I said. He followed him to that alley and shot him down. But who eliminated Thursday? That's obvious, Gutman said. Someone who wanted the bird badly enough to commit murder. Someone in this room. I lit a cigarette and walked to the window. Here's what happened. Miles was tailing Thursday, just like he was supposed to. But Thursby spotted him and turned the tables. He eliminated Miles in that alley, then went back to his hotel thinking he was safe. But someone was waiting for him. Someone who knew he'd be coming back. Someone who wanted him dead. Who? Cairo asked. The same person who's been playing all the angles from the beginning. The same person who hired me and Miles in the first place, knowing we'd probably get eliminated in the process. I turned around and looked at Brigid. You eliminated both of them, didn't you, sweetheart? The room went dead quiet. Brigid's face went white as a sheet. Sam, you can't believe that. I loved Floyd. Maybe you did, but you loved that bird more. You eliminated Miles because he was getting too close to the truth. And you eliminated Thursday because he was the only one who knew where the bird was hidden. That's ridiculous, she said, but her voice was shaken. Is it? Then where's the bird, Brigid? You said Thursby hid it, but I think you've had it all along. Gutman stood up, his face red with anger. Enough talk. Where's the Falcon? Right here, I said, and walked to my closet. I pulled out a package wrapped in newspaper and set it on the table.
One Maltese Falcon, as advertised. They all crowded around as I unwrapped it. There it was, a black bird, about a foot tall, carved from some kind of stone. It was beautiful, in a dark, mysterious way. Is that it? Cairo asked. That's it, I said. The stuff that dreams are made of. Gutman picked it up with trembling hands. After 17 years, he whispered. Finally. He examined it closely, turning it over in his hands. Then his face changed. This is a fake, he said. What? This is a fake, a copy. This isn't the real Falcon. The room erupted in angry voices. Cairo was shouting, Cook was reaching for his gun, and Brigid was backing toward the door. Hold it, I said, pulling out my own gun. Nobody moves.
But if this isn't a real bird, Gutman said, then where is it? That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? I looked at Brigid. You want to tell them, or should I? She was crying again, but this time it was different. These weren't tears of fear or sadness. These were tears of rage. I don't know where it is, she said. Floyd never told me. He hid it somewhere before he died, and he took the secret with him. So all of this has been for nothing? Cairo asked. Miles died for nothing, Thursby died for nothing, and we're all standing here empty-handed. Not quite, I said. We still have the matter of justice to settle. Police sirens in distance. That's when the police arrived. I'd called them before the meeting, telling them to give me an hour and then come up. Detective Dundee and his boys came through the door like they owned the place. All right, Spade, Dundee said. What's this all about? Meet your murderers, I said. Brigid O'Shaughnessy eliminated Miles Archer and Floyd Thursby. Joe Cairo and Kasper Gutman are accessories to murder, and young Wilmer Cook here has been carrying a gun without a license. You can't prove any of this, Gutman said. I don't have to. The police will do that. I looked at Brigid one last time. She was staring at me with those blue eyes, and for a moment I almost felt sorry for her. Almost. You're going to turn me in? She asked. That's right, sweetheart. When a man's partner is eliminated, he's supposed to do something about it. It doesn't matter if he liked his partner or not. It's the code. What about us, Sam? What about what we had? We had a few nights and a lot of lies. That's all. Handcuffs clicking. Footsteps. They led her away in handcuffs, and I never saw her again. The paper said she got 20 years for manslaughter. Cairo and Gutman got 10 each. Cook got 5. And me? I went back to my office and waited for the next case. The black bird was never found. Maybe it's still out there somewhere, waiting for the next dreamer to come along. Or maybe it never existed at all. Maybe the whole thing was just a story told by a sailor in a Hong Kong bar, and we all died and eliminated for nothing. Foghorn in distance. Footsteps fading. That's the way it goes in this business. You think you're chasing treasure, but all you find is trouble. You think you're helping people, but they're usually lying to you. And you think you can trust someone, but in the end, everybody's got an angle. I'm Sam Spade, and I should have known better. But then again, if I knew better, I wouldn't be in this business. Music swells. And so ends another chapter in the files of Sam Spade, private investigator. The Maltese Falcon remains a mystery, lost somewhere in the fog-shrouded streets of San Francisco. But justice was served, and sometimes that's the best a man can hope for. Until next time, this is your narrator saying good night from the city by the bay, where the fog rolls in and the truth is always harder to find than it seems.